Hello, my name is Brisa Romero, and I'm a student at California State University, Channel Islands. I'm a Chicanx major, and I'm minoring in history. And today I will be talking about my capstone project, Prohibition in the Borderlands, Economic Development of Border Towns, and the Racialization of Mexicans. The main thesis of my project is that Euro-American visitors helped the local tourist economy, but also contributed to the racialization of Mexicans in Mexico. In the eyes of Euro-Americans, Mexicans promoted the promiscuous activities that occurred in these vice districts. The English language media reported on the mayhems that were occurring in these saloons, brothels, gambling halls, and other vice-related businesses that reinforced harmful racial stereotypes about the Mexican people. The methodologies that I utilized for my project was the archival research method. I went online and used the online databases, the online newspaper databases, and the ones that I used specifically for this project was the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, the Fredonia Daily Herald, the Berkshire Eagle, and the San Bernardino County Star, all of which are from between the years 1910 to 1930. For my literature review, the four elements that I focused on was American Prohibition, U.S.-Mexican borderlands, Chicano historiography, and the racialization of Mexicans. For American Prohibition, most of the research that I found was centered on the U.S. perspective within the borders, not in the countries surrounding it or other areas for that matter. For the U.S.-Mexican borders, the majority of the research is only focused on immigration. So, and it's Mexican immigration, not the United States immigration. For Chicano historiography, Mexican involvement in the prohibitions is widely unknown, and the racialization of Mexican is centered in the immigration of Mexicans in the eyes of the English language media. So same as the borderlands, there's no connection with prohibition, it's only immigration. It's widely immigration. The first aspect I'll be covering is U.S. prohibition during the 1920s. The Volstead Act of 1919 instituted a constitutional ban on the consumption and manufacturing of alcohol. White middle-class reformers led the temperance movement in support of the Volstead Act and other prohibition legislation. Opponents against the 18th Amendment felt that their individual rights were being stripped away. So rather than following these laws, they decided to seek it elsewhere. So those living along the Southwest sought their alcohol and other vices in Mexico because prohibition laws did not exist there. And this realization, as I call it, led to the major tourism in Mexico border towns that forever changed the border economy and culture. The next section I'll be talking about is the U.S. borderlands. In the beginning of the 20th century, Mexico faced a political and economic crisis due to the Mexican Revolution. The U.S.-Mexican border at this point was also very porous and underdeveloped, so people could cross whenever they needed to. Mexican and American businesses created vice-related business established in these borderlands since prohibition was occurring. This led to increased Mexican migration to border towns, as well as the improvement in Mexican economy due to the tourism and capital they were gaining from these vice districts. The final section I will be discussing of my paper is the racialization of Mexicans. Prohibition did prove to increase the population as well as the economy during this time, but it also altered Mexico's image in the long run. The temperance movement women called Mexican border vice districts wastelands of debauchery, and Mexican border towns tempted good-natured Euro-Americans to find prostitutes, saloons, and other vices. So it was the Mexicans' fault as to why so many people were coming here. Another way they were portrayed were as raging alcoholics, lazy, and criminals, something that we still hear to this day. In conclusion, prohibition was essential to the economic development of Mexican border towns. It led to increased American tourism into the border vice districts and led to positive and negative results. The English language media created negative stereotypes of Mexicans and Mexico that are still used today. However, throughout my entire research, there was no one source that covered everything that I wanted to find for this assignment. So I really had to utilize many writers, many scholars to find exactly what I was looking for. So further research is needed on the Mexican response to border vice districts because we've heard enough from the United States perspective, but not much is there from the Mexican side because I feel it is due to a wide variety of reasons, but I feel the main reason is because this isn't well known, this isn't well covered. So thank you very much. Uh, I want to thank Dr. Jose Alamillo, the chair of the Chicano Studies Department at Channel Islands. He is a very supportive professor, and I would not have been able to do so well or so much on this. And I would like to thank California State University's Channel Islands for giving me the space I need to academically thrive. And finally, I would like to thank the Chicano Studies Department for really believing in their students and pushing us to share our stories. Thank you.